The janitor's hands were shaking when he pulled it from the trash. Medal of Honor, bloodstained, heavy as sin. Nurse Sarah Martinez glanced at it for only a second before her face went pale. She said nothing. Just turned back to her patient charts like her world hadn't just shattered, but down the hall. Black SUVs were already pulling up to the emergency entrance. Someone was coming for that medal, and when they found out who threw it away, everything in this hospital would change forever. Sarah had been on shift for 6 hours when Miguel found the medal. She was standing at the nurse's station, updating charts. Her scrubs were standard issue blue. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail. Nothing about her suggested she was anything more than what she appeared to be. A nurse. Competent. Quiet. Forgettable. Dr. Brennan walked past without acknowledging her. He never did. To him, nurses were background noise. Interchangeable parts of the machine that kept his hospital running. Nurse Martinez, he barked over his shoulder. Room 304 needs fresh linens. Handle it. Sarah didn't look up. Already done, doctor? He grunted and kept walking. Miguel, the night janitor, appeared at the station. His face was gray. His hands clutched something wrapped in paper towels. Miss Sarah, he whispered. I found something. She glanced up. Saw the fear in his eyes. Show me. He unwrapped it slowly. The metal caught the fluorescent light. Gold star blue ribbon. And across the silk, dark stains that could only be blood. The Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States, and someone had thrown it in the trash. Sarah's fingers went cold. She knew exactly whose medal this was. She'd seen it presented. She'd stood at attention when the president draped it around the neck of the soldier who earned it. She'd watched that soldier nearly die to deserve it. Where did you find this? Her voice was steady. Too steady. 3rd floor. Surgical wing. In the trash by the supply closet. Sarah took the medal carefully. Held it like it might explode. You didn't see this? You didn't find anything tonight? Understand? His eyes went wide. Miss Sarah, go home. Take the rest of the night off. I'll cover for you. He hesitated, then nodded and disappeared down the hall. Sarah stood alone at the station. The medal felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. She should have destroyed it years ago. Should have buried it with the identity she'd left behind. But some things you can't let go of. Some things are written in blood and sacrifice and the screams of men. You couldn't save the elevator name. Heavy footsteps echoed down the hall. Not the shuffle of patients or the quick pace of doctors. These were boots. Military boots? Moving with purpose, Sarah slipped the medal into her pocket. Her heart rate didn't change. Her breathing stayed even. Years of training kept her body calm even as her mind raced through scenarios. 2 men in dark suits rounded the corner. Secret Service. She recognized the earpieces. The way they scanned the hallway. The bulge under their jackets. Behind them walked a woman in an army dress uniform. Colonel's insignia on her shoulders. Her jaw was set. Her eyes were sharp. They were looking for something, or someone. Sarah turned back to her charts. Kept writing. Just another nurse doing paperwork. Nothing to see here. The colonel stopped at the nurse's station. Sarah said politely. Can I help you? The colonel studied her, long and hard. Like she was trying to see through skin and bone into whatever Sarah was hiding underneath. We're looking for something that was lost, the colonel said slowly. Something that belongs to the United States military. Something that should never have left the person it was given to. Sarah met her eyes. Didn't blink. This is a hospital, Colonel. We have a lot of lost items. Check with security. We did. They said to ask the night staff. I've been here all night. Haven't seen anything unusual? The colonel leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. That medal cost 7 lives. 3 of them were my soldiers. If someone disrespected it by throwing it away, I will burn this hospital down to find out who. Sarah felt the weight of the medal in her pocket, felt the names of those 7. Soldiers pressing against her chest like ghosts. She'd carried those names for 12 years. Keep an eye out. Sarah said quietly. The colonel held her gaze for another moment, then nodded. You do that, Nurse Martinez? Nurse Martinez. The colonel turned and walked away. Her entourage followed. Sarah waited until they disappeared into the elevator. Then she pulled out her phone, sent a single text to a number she hadn't used in over a decade. They found me. The response came in seconds. Stay put. Help is coming. Sarah deleted both messages, slipped her phone back into her pocket. Down the hall, Dr. Brennan was yelling at a resident about a botched 4-line. Outside, the city hummed with its normal midnight chaos, and in her pocket, a bloodstained metal waited to destroy everything she'd built. But Zara had faced worse than this. Much worse. She picked up her clipboard and walked toward room 304. If you want to see how this story ends, hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will change everything. Asterisk. Part 2. The emergency began at 2:47. Sarah was checking vitals in room 308. When the first gunshot echoed through the parking garage, then another, then screaming, the hospital's PA system crackled to life. Code Silver. Code Silver. Active shooter in parking structure. All personnel initiate lockdown procedures. Sarah's training kicked in before her brain could catch up. She moved to the door, locked it, pulled the curtains, turned to her patient, an elderly man recovering from hip surgery. Mr. Chen, I need you to stay quiet and stay low. Do you understand? He nodded, eyes wide with fear. She could hear chaos erupting in the hallway. Nurses shouting, patients crying, Dr. Brennan's voice booming, orders that made no tactical sense. Everyone get to the nurses' station. We'll barricade there. Sarah closed her eyes, took a breath. That was exactly the wrong move. The nurses' station had windows, no cover, no secondary exits. They'd be sitting ducks. She stepped into the hallway. Dr. Brennan was herding staff toward the center of the floor. His face was red. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Nurse Martinez. Get over here. Sarah didn't move. Doctor? That's a kill zone. We need to get everyone into patient rooms. Lock the doors. Barricade with furniture. Keep the lights off. I didn't ask for your opinion. I'm in charge here. Another gunshot. Closer this time. The stairwell door, someone was coming up. Sarah looked at the 15 staff members clustered around Brennan. Young nurses. Terrified residents. A medical student who looked like he might pass out. She made a decision. Everyone, listen to me. Get into the nearest patient room. Lock the door. Push the bed against it. Turn off the lights. Get on the floor behind the bed. Do not make a sound. Do not open the door for anyone unless they identify themselves as police. Go, now. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried command. Authority that came from somewhere deeper than a nursing degree. The staff hesitated. Looked at Dr. Brennan, he sputtered. You don't give orders here. The stairwell door exploded open. 2 men burst through. Tactical gear. Rifles. Faces covered with masks. But Sarah saw what everyone else missed. Their weapons were pointed down. Their fingers were off the triggers. And the patches on their vests said FBI, not shooters. Response team, FBI. Everyone on the ground? The staff screamed and dropped. Dr. Brennan froze like a deer in headlights. Sarah stayed standing, the lead agent's weapon snapped up toward her. I sat on the ground. She raised her hands slowly, kept her voice calm. There are patients in these rooms, elderly, post-surgical. If you need to secure the floor, I can help you. But you need to stop terrifying the staff first. The agent moved closer. His eyes were hard behind his tactical goggles. Who the hell are you? Night shift nurse. Sarah Martinez. And you're not here for an active shooter? His finger twitched on the trigger guard. How would you know that? Because an active shooter doesn't trigger a federal response team 6 minutes after first contact? Because your team came up the stairwell instead of securing the ground floor first? And because you're looking for something? not someone. The agent stared at her. Behind him, his partner spoke into his radio. Third floor secured. No hostile contact. Repeat, no hostile contact. The lead agent lowered his weapon slightly. You're smart for a nurse. I read a lot. He didn't smile. Everyone stays here. Nobody leaves this floor until we're done sweeping the building. Done sweeping for what? He ignored her. Turned to his team. Check every room. Every closet. Every trash can. Find it. They fanned out. Sarah watched them work. Professional, efficient, searching for something small, enough to fit in a trash can. They were looking for the metal. Dr. Brennan struggled to his feet. His face was purple with rage. This is outrageous. You can't just storm in here and sit down, sir, the agent said without looking at him. I am the chief of surgery. I demand to know the agent's patience, snapped. He turned, got in Brennan's face. You are a civilian. In a federal crime scene, interfering with an investigation? So sit down. Brennan sat. Sarah moved back toward the nurse's station, casual, unthreatening. The metal in her pocket felt like it was burning through her scrubs. She needed to get rid of it. But how? The floor was locked down. Agents were searching everything. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Unknown number. Roof access. 10 minutes. Come alone. Sarah deleted the message. Looked at the agents tearing apart supply closets. Looked at Dr. Brennan sitting on the floor, humiliated and furious. Looked at the young nurses huddled together, still shaking with fear. She'd spent 12 years building this quiet life. This normal existence. She'd buried the soldier she used to be under layers of routine and anonymity. But some things don't stay buried. Some things come back whether you're ready or not. Sarah took a breath. Then she walked toward the stairwell. Hey, the lead agent called out. Where do you think you're going? She turned, met his eyes. There's a patient on the 4th floor. Post-op cardiac. If she wakes up alone during a lockdown, she'll panic. Her heart won't take it. I need to check on her. Nobody leaves this floor. Then you better come with me. Because if she dies, that's on you. The agent studied her, trying to decide if she was telling the truth. Finally, he jerked his head toward his partner. Rodriguez. Escort her. Make it quick. Sarah nodded. Started walking toward the stairs, toward the roof, toward whatever was waiting for her there. Behind her, agents kept searching, and in her pocket. A blood-stained metal grew heavier with every step. Agent Rodriguez stayed 2 steps behind. Sarah, as they climbed to the 4th floor. He was young, maybe trying hard to look experienced. Sarah could hear his breathing, smell his nervous sweat. Which room? He asked when they reached the 4th floor hallway. 412, end of the hall. They walked in silence. The floor was eerily quiet. Most patients were asleep. The night staff had heard the code silver and locked themselves in the break room. Sarah stopped it, room 412. Mrs. Patterson was asleep. Her cardiac monitor beeped steadily. Oxygen line secure. For flowing normally, she didn't need checking. But Rodriguez didn't know that. She's stable, Sarah said quietly. I just need to adjust her medication dosage. It'll take a few minutes. You can wait outside if you want. Give her some privacy. Rodriguez shifted uncomfortably. I'm supposed to stay with you? She's a 73-year-old woman with a fresh bypass. You really want to wake her up by standing over her bed with a rifle? He hesitated. I'll leave the door open, Sarah added. You can see me the whole time. Rodriguez stepped back into the hallway. Kept his eyes on her through the doorway. Sarah moved to Mrs. Patterson's bedside. Checked the 4-pump. Made a show of adjusting numbers on the screen. Her eyes flicked to the ceiling. In the corner of the room, it's barely visible, was a maintenance access panel. 6 screws. Standard hospital construction. The ladder inside led to the roof. Sarah glanced back at Rodriguez. He was watching her. But his attention was divided. His radio kept crackling with updates from the teams. Below, she needed a distraction. Sarah pressed the call button on Mrs. Patterson's bed rail. 3 seconds later, a nurse's voice came through the speaker at the station. Yes, room 412. This is Nurse Martinez. I need a crash cart brought to 412 immediately. Rodriguez's head snapped toward her. What's wrong? A regular heartbeat. Possible VTAC. I need backup. It was a lie. Mrs. Patterson's monitor showed perfect sinus rhythm, but Rodriguez couldn't see the screen from the hallway. He spoke urgently into his radio. We have a medical emergency on 4. I need to stay with the nurse. Send someone to cover the stairwell. Copy that. Footsteps pounded up the stairs. The crash cart arrived. 2 nurses Sarah didn't recognize burst in, faces tight with worry. They looked at the monitor, looked at Mrs. Patterson sleeping peacefully, looked at Sarah. False alarm, Sarah said calmly. Monitor glitch. Sorry for the scare. The nurses exchanged confused glances, but wheeled the cart back out. Rodriguez stepped into the room now, suspicious. That didn't look like VTAC to me. You a doctor? No, but I'm not an idiot either. Sarah met his eyes, held his gaze. This was the moment. She could back down, play it safe. Wait for someone else to solve this problem? Or she could do what she'd spent 12 years training herself not to do. Take control, Rodriguez, she said quietly. How long have you been with the FBI? 6 months. Why? 6 months. So you're still trying to prove yourself? Still trying to show the senior agents you belong? His jaw tightened. What's your point? My point is that you're smart enough to know this whole operation is wrong. You don't deploy a tactical team for a lost piece of military hardware. You don't lock down a civilian hospital unless something bigger is happening. And you don't send a rookie to babysit a nurse unless the senior agents don't think there's any real threat. Rodriguez's hand moved toward his weapon, not drawing it. Just resting on the grip. You talk too much for a nurse. You're not asking the right questions. Like what? Like why the FBI is looking for a Medal of Honor that belongs to someone who's been dead for 12 years. Rodriguez went very still. How do you know what we're looking for? Because I know who threw it away. Who? Sarah pulled the medal from her pocket. Let it dangle from its blood-stained ribbon. Rodriguez's eyes went wide. His hand gripped his weapon.
Out.
Don't move. Don't even breathe. I'm calling this in right now. Go ahead. But before you do, ask yourself something. If I wanted to run, why would I show you the medal? Why would I bring you up here where there's no backup? Maybe you're stupid. Or maybe I need your help.
Rodriguez's finger hovered over his radio.
Help with what? Sarah nodded toward the window. Look outside. Look at the street. He moved to the window, kept his weapon pointed at her. Below, the hospital was surrounded. Not just FBI, black SUVs, unmarked vans, military vehicles, too many for a simple recovery operation. Rodriguez's face went pale. What the hell is going on? 12 years ago, I was part of a classified operation. 7 soldiers went in. Only I came out. The mission was erased. The soldiers were declared Kia in training accidents. And I was given a new identity. A new life. A Medal of Honor I was never supposed to show anyone. Why? Because the mission never happened. Because what we found was never supposed to exist. And because the people who sent us in wanted everyone dead, they got 6 out of 7. Rodriguez was shaking now. This is insane. You're lying. And call it in. Tell them you have the medal. See what happens? He stared at her, trying to decide. Sarah took a step closer. Rodriguez, look at me. Really look, he did. And for the first time he saw past the scrubs, past the tired eyes and the simple ponytail. He saw the way she stood, the way her hands were positioned, the absolute calm in her voice. This wasn't a nurse. This was a soldier. Who are you? He whispered. Someone who's trying to stay alive. And someone who can help you not get killed for doing your job. By doing what? By getting me to the roof. Right now. Before the people downstairs realize what I have. Why the roof? Because someone I trust is coming to get me. And if I don't meet them in 3 minutes, they'll assume I'm compromised. And if they assume I'm compromised, they'll burn this whole operation to the ground to cover their tracks, including everyone in this hospital. Rodriguez's radio crackled. Rodriguez, report. What's your status? He looked at Sarah, looked at the metal, looked at the maintenance panel in the ceiling, made a choice. Status is green. Medical emergency resolved. Heading back to 3 now. Copy. He lowered his weapon. I'm going to regret this. Probably. Sarah grabbed a chair, stood on it, unscrewed the maintenance panel with a pen from her pocket. Rodriguez watched her disappear into the ceiling. 30 seconds later, she dropped back down, held out her hand. Come on. We don't have much time. I can't just abandon my post. You can, and you will. Because in about 90 seconds, the senior agents are going to realize the metal isn't anywhere on the 3rd floor. And they're going to start asking questions about where you took me. And when they find out, they're going to wonder why you didn't report finding it immediately. And then you become a liability. Rodriguez's radio crackled again. All units subject may still be in the building. Initiate floor-by-floor search. No one in or out. His face went white. Sarah climbed back onto the chair, pulled herself into the ceiling. Last chance. Rodriguez looked at the door, looked at the ceiling, cursed under his breath, and climbed up after her. Asterisk. The roof was freezing. Wind whipped across the concrete. City lights glittered below. Sarah could hear sirens. See more vehicles arriving. The perimeter was tightening. Rodriguez pulled himself through the access hatch. His rifle clattered against the metal frame. Now what? He gasped. Sarah scanned the rooftop. There in the corner, behind the HVAC unit, a figure stepped out of the shadows. Rodriguez raised his weapon. Don't move. The figure raised empty hands. Walked forward into the light. It was the colonel from earlier. The one who'd come looking for the metal, but she wasn't wearing her uniform anymore. Black tactical gear. No insignia. No patches. And she wasn't alone. For more operators materialized from the shadows, silent, professional, weapons ready but not aimed. Rodriguez's hands were shaking. What is this? The colonel ignored him, looked at Sarah. You kept it. After everything? After 12 years, you kept the metal. Sarah pulled it from her pocket, held it out. It wasn't mine to throw away. The colonel's eyes glistened. She took the metal carefully, reverently. 7 names, she whispered. 7 soldiers who gave everything. I know. I was there. You were more than there, Captain. You led them in. You were the only one who came out. Rodriguez's weapon drooped. Captain. Sarah didn't look at him. That rank doesn't exist anymore. Neither does the woman who held it. The colonel shook her head. It exists. It always existed. The army doesn't forget its own. Even when the mission gets buried. Even when the orders come down to erase everything. Then why come for the medal now? Why, after 12 years? The colonel's face hardened. Because someone leaked the mission file. Someone inside the Pentagon. And now people are asking questions. Questions about what really happened. Questions about why 7 elite operators were sent into a black site in Yemen and only 1 came back. Let them ask. The mission's classified. They'll hit a wall. They'll already hit the wall. And they went through it. They found the after-action report. They found the witness statements. They found everything. Sarah's blood went cold. That's impossible. Those files were destroyed. Someone made copies. Someone who wants the truth to come out. And when it does, every agency involved will burn. CIA, DOD, everyone. So they sent the FBI to find the metal. Find you and make sure neither one ever surfaces again. Rodriguez finally found his voice. Wait, are you saying the FBI was sent here to kill her? Not the FBI, the people controlling them. The senior agents downstairs don't know what they're really looking for, but their handlers do. And when those handlers realize the metal and Captain Martinez are on this roof, they'll give the order. What order? To eliminate the evidence. All of it. Sarah closed her eyes. She'd known this day might come, had prepared for it, but she'd hoped foolishly that it never would. So what now? She asked, "You extract me? Put me in witness protection again? Give me another fake name and another fake life?" The colonel stepped closer. "No, Captain. This time we do it different. This time we go public. We tell the truth. We let the world know what happened in Yemen. We let them know about the chemical weapons program, about the senators who authorized it, about the cover-up that killed 6 soldiers to protect political careers. They'll destroy me. Court-martial, prison, treason charges. They'll try, but they won't succeed, because I have everything. The files, the evidence, the recordings of the orders that sent you in, and I have 3-star generals who are ready to testify, ready to burn the whole system down to get justice for those 7 soldiers." Sarah looked at the metal in the colonel's hand, at the bloodstains that never quite washed away. "Those soldiers died following my orders." "No, they died following illegal orders from people who sent them into a trap. You saved the one thing they cared about, the truth, and you carried it for 12 years. Below them, the hospital entrance exploded with activity. Agents were flooding in. Multiple teams. Moving fast, the colonel's radio crackled. Perimeter secured. Target location, unknown. Authorization requested for aggressive search protocols. Her team leader spoke quietly. "Colonel, we need to move, now." Rodriguez was backing toward the access hatch. "I don't understand any of this. I just want to do my job. I just want to go home." Sarah turned to him. Saw the fear in his eyes, the confusion. "Rodriguez, listen to me. You have a choice. You can go back down. Tell them you lost me. Tell them I overpowered you and escaped. They'll believe you. You're a rookie. It happens. You'll take some heat, but you'll survive, or you come with us. You see this through, and you help us expose the people who turned the FBI into an assassination squad."
Aye.
He laughed bitterly. "That's insane. I'd be throwing away my career. My life? You'd be saving it. Because if you go back down, and they find out you were on this roof with me, you become a loose end. And loose ends disappear." The colonel nodded. "He's right to be scared. This isn't a game. People who fight this system don't always win. Sometimes they end up dead. Sometimes they end up destroyed. But sometimes they change everything." Rodriguez looked at Sarah, really looked at her. "You threw away the medal, tonight in the trash." "Why?" Sarah was quiet for a long moment. "'Cause I was tired. Tired of carrying it. Tired of the weight. Tired of being reminded every day of what I lost. I thought if I could just let it go, I could finally move on. Finally be the person I pretended to be. But you couldn't. No, because those 7 soldiers deserve better than to be forgotten. They deserve their story told, even if it costs me everything." The roof access door exploded open. FBI tactical team. 6 agents. Weapons up. Nobody move. Hands where we can see them. The colonel's team moved like liquid. Flanked the agents. Weapons trained. Mexican standoff. The lead agent's eyes widened. He recognized the colonel, Colonel Reeves. "What are you doing here?" "My job, Agent Morrison. Protecting an asset? That asset is wanted for questioning in a federal investigation. No, that asset is a decorated war hero who you've been ordered to eliminate, and I'm not letting that happen." Morrison's face went pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. You got new orders 15 minutes ago? From someone above your pay grade? Orders to use lethal force if necessary. Orders that never should have been given." Morrison's hand trembled on his weapon. "How do you know about those orders?" "Because I've been monitoring this operation since it started, and I know exactly who's pulling the strings." Behind Morrison, his team was getting nervous. They weren't killers. They were federal agents. Good people doing a bad job for bad people. Sarah stepped forward. Hands raised. "Agent Morrison, Your team doesn't have to do this. You can walk away. All of you, tell your handlers the asset escaped. Tell them you did everything you could. Live to fight another day. Morrison's weapon stayed up, but his eyes were conflicted. If I let you go, they'll know. They'll come after me. They'll come with us. Help us expose them. Be on the right side of history. Morrison looked at his team, saw the same doubt in their eyes. He lowered his weapon. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Sarah smiled. Welcome to the club. The colonel's radio crackled with encrypted traffic. Exfil his wheels down in 90 seconds. Rooftop extraction. Let's move. The sound of helicopter rotors cut through the night. Rodriguez was staring at everything with wide eyes. This is really happening. This is actually happening. Sarah put a hand on his shoulder. You okay? No, absolutely not. But I'm coming anyway. The helicopter descended, black, unmarked. Military grade. Sarah looked at the hospital below, at the life she was leaving behind, at the quiet existence she'd built from nothing. She thought of Dr. Brennan, of Miguel the janitor, of the patients who'd never know their nurse was someone else entirely. Then she thought of 7 soldiers. 7 names. 7 lives that deserved justice. She climbed into the helicopter and left. Sarah Martinez behind forever. Asterisk, the helicopter ride lasted 20 minutes. Sarah sat in silence. Rodriguez clutched his rifle like a lifeline. Agent Morrison and his team looked shell-shocked. The colonel was on the radio. Encrypted channels. Rapid-fire coordination. They landed at a secure facility outside the city. Underground parking garage. Unmarked building. The kind of place that didn't officially exist. Inside, generals were waiting. 3 of them Sarah recognized too. General Hastings from JSOC. General Brooks from Army Intelligence. The third was older. 4 stars on his shoulders. She didn't know him. The third general spoke first. Captain Martinez. It's been a long time. Sarah stood at attention. Old habits. Sir, I'm not a captain anymore. That identity was retired. Your identity was retired. Your rank remains. You were never formally discharged. Couldn't be. The mission you were on didn't exist. So technically, you've been a wall for 12 years. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. We're prepared to overlook that. General Hastings stepped forward. He looked older, grayer. The years had not been kind. Asterisk, Captain. The situation has evolved. The leak we mentioned isn't just about your mission. It's about an entire network of black operations. 20 years of illegal weapons programs. Assassination orders. Cover-ups. And it all traces back to a group of senior officials who've been running their own shadow government inside the Pentagon. Sarah's jaw tightened. How high does it go? High enough that we can't trust normal channels. High enough that half the FBI doesn't know they're being used. High enough that when we go public, it's going to tear the entire defense establishment apart. Then why tell me? I'm nobody. A nurse who used to be a soldier. You're not nobody. You're the only living witness to what happened in Yemen. You're the only one who can testify about the orders you received, about what you found in that facility, about why 6 soldiers had to die to cover it up. Sarah felt the weight of 12 years pressing down on her. I can't. If I testify, they'll destroy my credibility. They'll call me a liar. A disgraced soldier, they'll say I'm making it up. The 4-star general pulled out a tablet, slid it across the table to her. They can't say that anymore. Because we have this. Sarah looked at the screen. It was a video, grainy, date stamped 12 years ago. It showed a room, a facility, armed men in hazmat suits, and barrels. Dozens of barrels, chemical weapons, nerve agents, VX gas, weapons that were supposed to be destroyed, weapons that the United States had sworn didn't exist. You recorded this, Sarah whispered. You did, Captain? Your helmet cam. You transmitted the footage before you got hit, before the facility was destroyed. We thought it was lost in the explosion, but someone kept a copy. Someone who waited 12 years for the right moment to use it. Sarah's hands were shaking. Who kept this? The general's expression was grim. Captain James Rourke. He was your second in command. He didn't die in Yemen. He made it out, barely, but he was too badly injured to continue serving, so we retired him. Gave him a medical discharge. He's been sitting on this footage ever since. Waiting for the right time. Why now? Because 2 months ago, Captain Rourke was diagnosed with terminal cancer. 6 months to live. Maybe less. And he decided that before he dies, he wants justice. For himself. For the other 6. For you. Sarah felt tears burning behind her eyes. She'd thought Rourke was dead. Had carried his name along with the others. Had mourned him for 12 years. Where is he? Walter Reed not doing well. But he wants to see you. Wants to know that his sacrifice meant something. Colonel Reeves stepped forward. Captain, we need you. Not just for testimony. We need you to lead the investigation. You know this world. You know how these operations work? You know where the bodies are buried? Literally, I've been a nurse for 12 years. I don't remember how to be a soldier. Yes, you do. We all saw it tonight. The way you handled the crisis, the way you commanded the floor, the way you got Rodriguez to trust you. That's not nursing. That's leadership. Ah! Sarah looked at Rodriguez. He was sitting in the corner, still processing everything. What happens to him? She asked. In Morrison's team? They threw away their careers for me. They get reassigned. Special detail. Working directly for us, their records will show they were deep undercover. By the time this is over, they'll be heroes. If we win, the general agreed. Sarah stood, walked to the window. Outside, dawn was breaking. The city was waking up. People starting their normal days. Going to work. Dropping kids at school. Living lives that had nothing to do with black operations and chemical weapons and soldiers who died for lies. She'd wanted to be one of them. Had tried so hard to be one of them. But some people don't get normal. Some people carry weight that never goes away. Sarah turned back to the generals. I want full immunity for everyone involved in tonight's extraction. I want Rodriguez and Morrison's team protected. And I want to see Rourke. Before I agree to anything, I need to see him. The 4-star general nodded. Done. We'll have you at Walter Reed in an hour. And one more thing. Name it. When this goes public, when we testify, when we burn everything down, I want the hospital protected. The staff. The patients. Dr. Brennan. Miguel, the janitor. All of them. They didn't ask for this. They don't deserve to be collateral damage. We'll make it happen. Sarah took a deep breath. Then I'm in. Let's end this. The room erupted in motion. Phones came out. Orders were given. A plan that had been waiting 12 years was finally being set in motion. Colonel Reeves pulled Sarah aside. You know this won't be easy. You'll be testifying in front of Congress. You'll be in the media. Your face will be everywhere. Everyone will know who you are, what you did. There's no going back to being invisible after this, I know. And there are people who will do anything to stop you. People with money, with power, with nothing to lose. I know that too. Reeves studied her face, saw something there that made her nod with respect. You're ready, Sarah said quietly. But I'm done hiding. An hour later, they were at Walter Reed. Security was tight. Armed guards. Closed corridors. Maximum protection. They brought Sarah to a private room on the 7th floor. Rourke was in the bed. Thin, gray, tubes running into his arms. But his eyes were sharp, alert. He saw Sarah and smiled. There's my captain. Sarah's composure broke. She crossed the room, took his hand. James, I thought you were dead. All these years, I thought, I know. I'm sorry. They wouldn't let me contact you. Operational security. But I never stopped watching. Never stopped waiting for the right moment. You should have told me. We could have done this together. No, You needed to heal. Needed to build a life. I had nothing left to lose. You had everything. Coughed. Winced with pain. But now it's time. Time to finish what we started. The footage. You've had it all these years. Encrypted. Hidden. Safe. But now it's out. Now the world can see what we saw. What they tried to hide. Sarah squeezed his hand. The other 6. Did they know? Before the end, Rourke's eyes clouded. They knew. They knew we were sent there to die. To be witnesses to something that could never be allowed to exist. But they went anyway. Because that's what soldiers do. Should have refused the mission. Should have. But we didn't. We followed orders. And 6 good people paid the price. Now we make sure their deaths meant something. Now we make sure the people who sent them their pay. The door opened. A doctor came in. Checked monitors. Adjusted medication. 5 more minutes, he said quietly. He needs to rest. Rourke gripped Sarah's hand tighter. Promise me something, Captain. Anything. When you testify, when you stand in front of those cameras and those senators and all those people, you tell them the truth. Not the sanitized version. Not the politically acceptable version. The real truth? The blood. The screams. The way those soldiers died. You make them see it. You make them feel it. I promise. Good. You relax back into the pillows. Then I can rest. Sarah stood. Saluted. Rourke returned the salute. Weak but precise. Dismissed, Captain. Sarah walked to the door. Stopped. Looked back. James, thank you. For everything. For waiting. For fighting. For not giving up. That's what brothers do. She left the room. In the hallway, the generals were waiting. He's not going to make it, is he? Sarah asked. No, General Hastings said quietly. Doctors give him 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Then we better move fast. The hearing is scheduled for next week. Congressional Oversight Committee. Public testimony. Every major news network will be covering it. Sarah looked at the Medal of Honor in Colonel Reeves' hand. The bloodstains were still visible. Still dark. Still speaking of sacrifice? Then let's give them a show they'll never forget. The general smiled grimly. Captain Martinez, welcome back to the war. The hospital was still on. Locked down when the black sedans pulled up 6 hours. Later, Dr. Brennan was in his office. Furious, humiliated, demanding. Answers from FBI agents who had none to give. Search had turned up nothing. No medal. No nurse named Sarah Martinez. Just a false ID and an empty locker. She played us, one agent muttered. Whoever she was, she's gone. Brennan slammed his hand on the desk. I want to know who was working in my hospital. I want to know. The door opened. A man walked in. Expensive suit. Military bearing. 3 stars on his lapel pin. General Hastings. Behind him came a woman in army dress uniform. Not Colonel Reeves. Someone higher ranking, Major General Patricia Chen, Director of Army Intelligence. Brennan stood up. Tried to assert authority. I'm in the middle of sit down, Doctor. Brennan sat. General Chen placed a folder on the desk. Opened it. Nurse Sarah Martinez. You employed her for 8 years. Is that correct? Yes, but that's not her real name. She's obviously some kind of criminal, Captain Alexandra Garrett. Army Special Operations. 12 years active duty. 2 Bronze Stars. Purple Heart and the Medal of Honor. Brennan's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Asterisk, Chen continued. For 8 years, Captain Garrett worked in your hospital. She saved countless lives. She trained your staff. She covered for your mistakes. And you never once thanked her. Never once treated her with respect. Because she was just a nurse? Just background noise. I didn't know. No, you didn't. Because Captain Garrett was undercover. Living a quiet life. Trying to heal from wounds you couldn't begin to understand. And last night, she sacrificed that peace to protect this hospital. To protect you. To prevent a firefight that would have killed patients and staff. Brennan was pale, shaking. Where is she now? Asterisk preparing to testify before Congress about a mission that cost 6 soldiers their lives. About a cover-up that reaches the highest levels of government. About corruption and murder and lies that have poisoned our military for 2 decades. Chen leaned forward. And Dr. Brennan, when she testifies, when the cameras are rolling and the world is watching, she's going to mention this hospital. She's going to talk about how she found peace here, how she found purpose, and she's going to thank the staff who worked alongside her, the nurses who became her friends, the janitor who showed her kindness. She will not mention you. Brennan looked like he'd been struck. Captain Garrett leaves a legacy here, a standard of excellence, a reminder of what true service looks like. I suggest you remember that. Every single day, Chen closed the folder, stood. The hospital lockdown is lifted. Your staff can return to normal operations. The FBI investigation is concluded. You will receive no further information about last night's events. This conversation never happened. She walked to the door, stopped. One more thing, Doctor. Every nurse on your staff is now under protective oversight by Army intelligence. If any of them face retaliation or mistreatment because of their association with Captain Garrett, I will personally ensure that this hospital loses every federal contract and research grant it holds. Am I clear? Brennan could only nod. The generals left. Brennan sat in silence for a long time. Then he walked down to the 3rd floor, to the nurses' station where Sarah had spent so many nights. Miguel was there, cleaning. He looked up when Brennan approached. Mr. Miguel, Brennan said quietly. Tell me about Nurse Martinez. What was she like to work with? Miguel's eyes were sad. She was the best doctor. Always first to help. Always stayed late when we were short-staffed. Never complained. Never asked for recognition. Did you know what she really was? No, doctor. But I knew she was special. You could see it. The way she moved. The way she talked to scared patients. Like she understood fear. Like she'd lived through worse. Brennan nodded slowly. I should have seen it too. Yes, doctor. You should have. Miguel went back to cleaning. Brennan walked away. 1 week later, the hearing began. The room was packed. Senators, journalists, military brass. Cameras from every major network. Captain Alexandra Garrett entered in full dress uniform. Medals on her chest. Silver oak leaves on her shoulders. And around her neck, on a blood-stained blue ribbon, the Medal of Honor. The room fell silent. She walked to the witness table, sat down, adjusted the microphone. Behind her, 6 portraits were displayed on easels. 6 faces. 6 soldiers who never came home. The chairman of the Oversight Committee leaned forward. Captain Garrett, thank you for your service. And thank you for being here today. We know this testimony is difficult. Yes, sir. Would you please state your full name and rank for the record? Captain Alexandra Michelle Garrett, United States Army, Special Operations Command. Captain Garrett, you were part of a classified operation 12 years ago. An operation that has been the subject of recent leaks and investigations. Can you tell us in your own words what happened? Sarah looked at the cameras, at the senators, at the people in the gallery. She thought of 7 soldiers, of a mission that should never have been ordered, of 12 years carrying weight that no one should have to carry. She took a breath, and she told the truth. Every word, every detail, every moment of horror. The room was silent except for her voice. She spoke for 2 hours. When she finished, half the room was in tears. The chairman cleared his throat. Captain, that is the most devastating testimony I have ever heard in 30 years of public service. Yes, sir. And you maintained your silence for 12 years? Even though you could have exposed this at any time. I followed my orders, sir. Even when those orders were wrong? That's what soldiers do. At what cost? Sarah's voice was steady. At the cost of 6 lives? At the cost of my identity. At the cost of 12 years living as someone else? But not at the cost of the truth. Because the truth survived, and now everyone knows it.
Oh.
The chairman nodded. Captain Garrett, on behalf of this committee, on behalf of Congress, and on behalf of the American people, we apologize. For what you endured, for the cover-up that followed, for the sacrifice that was demanded of you and your team, he stood. The entire room stood. Every senator, every officer, every person in the gallery, and they saluted. Captain Alexandra Garrett returned the salute. Behind her, the 6 portraits stood silent witness. 3 months later, prosecutions began. 12 senior officials were indicted. 4 resigned. 2 senators were censured. The shadow network was dismantled. Rodriguez and Morrison were promoted, decorated for valor in the face of corruption. Colonel Reeves was given command of the new Oversight Division. Her job, make sure it never happened again. Captain James Rourke passed away quietly. Military honors, full burial at Arlington. 7 soldiers. 7 names on the memorial wall. 6 who died in Yemen, 1 who died 12 years later. Finally at peace. And Captain Alexandra Garrett. She stood in the cemetery. Dress uniform. Medal of Honor heavy on her chest. General Hastings approached. Captain, the Army would like to reinstate you. Full rank, full honors. You've earned it. Sarah looked at the graves. At the names carved in stone, thank you, sir.
Oh, but no.
I've done my service. I've fought my wars. Now it's time for someone else. What will you do? She smiled. I think I'll go back to nursing. There's a small hospital in Montana that needs staff. Quiet place. No media, no cameras. Just patients who need help. After everything, after all this, you want to go back? Sir, being a nurse isn't running away. It's running toward people who need healing, who need someone who understands pain, who's seen the worst and still believes in helping. She saluted. Hastings returned it. Dismissed, Captain, and thank you for everything. Sarah walked away from the graves, from the medals and the honors and the recognition, back toward a quiet life of service. Because some heroes wear capes, some wear uniforms, and some wear scrubs, and save the world one patient at a time. The end. If this story moved you, make sure you're subscribed to The Secret Medic, because there are more stories like this. More heroes hiding in plain sight. More truth waiting to be told. Hit that subscribe button. Share this story. And remember, sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one everyone underestimates. Thank you for watching.